What's on, guys? Just back to my channel. Time we're doing a review for Aew Dynamite 5th anniversary. So let's get to it then. Milestone 5-year anniversary episode of Aew Dynamite. TBS kicks off with the cold opening video package which features John Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Pac, and Marina Shafir. Addressing their recent actions, Mox then delivered a message to Bryan Danielson about giving him the opportunity to go out like a warrior, but vows he will ultimately be buried in his hometown and take his title. Alright, first match coming up, AW International Championship. Ricochet versus Will Ospreay, who is a champion. Come on. We then shoot inside the Peterson Event Center in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, whatever, Philadelphia, where Ricochet's theme hits and he makes his way to the ring for a big championship opening contest. As Excalibur welcomes us to the show and is joined by Tony Schiavone and Nigel McGuinness on commentary. Backstage, we see Don Callis and the Don Callis family approaching Will Ospreay literally seconds before he walks out for his big title defense against Ricochet. Callis has a quick exchange with Ospreay and then Kyle Fletcher. He's got a flight to catch. As the Don Callis family walks off, Kenoshi Takeshita hangs back and grills Ospreay inside the arena. Their aerial assassin makes his way to ring for this high anticipated showdown against his former rival. The bell sounds and official off running. This one of fans, of course, chant "Holy shit! Holy shit!" before they even touch. Um, as Cowboy informed us that Ricochet has a 5-4 lead in the current match history of 9 total bouts against Ospreay. The two lock up immediately, and this is awesome. This is awesome chant spreads throughout the building. The pace picks up, and each guy starts hitting moves and going for covers, only for the other to fight right back and do the same. The action spills out to the floor, and Ricochet dives through the ropes for a big splash. Ospreay fights back and leaps to the top of the ringside barricade, but Ricochet does the same and hits a hard crown to bring him down the hard way. Back in the ring, Ricochet continues to control the offense as fans chant, "Let's go, Ospreay!" The chant turns into a dueling chant with half the crowd chanting for Ricochet instead. Ospreay finally starts to fight back and shift the momentum in his favor. He blasts Ricochet with a big elbow for a 2 count. Fans start singing, chanting Ospreay's name. Ricochet hits a stiff clothesline out of a series of counters and reversals. We see a big Spanish fly spot, and then Ospreay sets up for an Oz cutter, but Ricochet has it well scouted and avoids it. The two fight outside the ring ropes on the hard part of the ring apron. Ospreay looks for a Stormbreaker, but Ricochet avoids it. Ospreay springboards off the middle rope backwards and connects with an Oz cutter on the hard part of the ring apron. Fans react to that and then break out in an AEW chant as you shake gears and head to our first commercial break of the evening. While the AEW International Championship opener continues, when we return, things pick up between Ricochet and Ospreay, culminating in a big double pin spot where the referee counts to 3. Alright. As the fans and commentators alike are confused, wait to see what the announcement is. We informed that due to both guys' shoulders being down during the fall, this match has been ruled a draw. Fans boo. Ricochet and Ospreay each call for the match to be restarted. It is announced per Tony Khan that it indeed will be seconds into things getting restarted. However, we see a second not finished as Kenoshi Takeshita of the Don Callis family hit the ring and attack both guys. The referee calls for the bell and the match and is throwing out. Takeshita leaves Ricochet and Ospreay lays out and poses over them with the AEW International Championship as fans loudly chant "asshole, asshole" at him. Alright, so winner is no contest. Alright, backstage we see TBS champion Mercedes Moné and Camille for an interview segment. The CEO talks about tonight being the 5-year anniversary of AEW Dynamite and says she is proud to have been a small part of that legacy. With that in mind, she introduces a video package looking at the best Monet moments thus far in AEW history. All right, excuse me. She talks about being business and in walks MVP who says he too likes big business. He tells Monet to take his card if she ever wants to talk business. He walks off, and Monet does the eyebrow raise, reacting to Camille after looking at the card, teasing potential interest in aligning with MVP. After this wraps up, we head to another commercial break. We have a segment coming up, TV time with the Chris Jericho and Mark Briscoe. When we return, we see the Guns being interviewed backstage. When out of nowhere, Heyman Page attacks them from behind back inside the arena. We see the TV time with the Learning Tree talk show set up in the ring. Chris Jericho talks about his history in the business and in AEW after being built up by Kiss as Big Bill and Brian Keith. As Jericho rambles on, he talks about always reinventing himself and says he was the Ultra in the past, but now he is the Noir. Whatever. All right. Jericho goes on to talk about how he will capture the ROH World Championship in the near future, as he has a match against reigning title holder Mark Briscoe of the conglomeration at the upcoming AEW Wrestle Dream Title 24 pay-per-view. Briscoe comes to the ring and has an exchange with Jericho. He says today's word of the day is consequential. Okay. All right. Jericho talks about how Mark Briscoe isn't good enough to be him, but Jay Briscoe might have been. Mark decks Jericho and shows a rare moment of seriousness as he tells him to keep his brother's name out of his mouth. He says getting knocked out for doing so what was an example of consequential. Alright, we shoot to a view package featuring Darby Allin. He tells a story about being treated bad in his early days. He says he had nothing else to do, so he just fought his way through it. He talks about coming up short to Jon Moxley and says he's not sure what to do, so he's gonna fight his way through it. He issues an open challenge to anyone who wants to step up and fight him at AEW Wrestle Dream Test 24. Alright, next match coming up, Heyman Page versus Juice Robinson. Backstage inside the Pearson Event Center, we hear the familiar sounds of Heyman Page's theme, and how he comes with the new evil look in his eyes, fresh off of his attack of the Guns earlier in the show. He sells in the ring, and then the partner and friend of the Guns, Juice Robinson's theme hits. All right. Robinson makes his way out looking all business instead of his usual jolly, goofy self. Heyman exits the ring and runs up the ramp. The two immediately collide and the fight is officially off and running. They brawl their way down to the ring, but quickly fight back out to the floor. And Heyman take control of the offense as he brings the fight over the barricade and into the crowd. Heyman sets a table leaning against a chunk of guardrail inside the crowd area. On the other end of the main barricade, Robinson fights back and they brawl their way up way up the steps in the crowd. The two finally fight their way into the ring some 10 minutes or so after their brawl began. The bell sounds and they fight right back out to the floor. Again, after some more back and forth action, Heyman finishes things off for the win but isn't satisfied. Once the match wraps up, Heyman puts a belt around Robinson's neck, Robinson's neck like a noose, but before he can finish him off. However, the Bullet Club Gold's own Switchblade Jay White makes a surprise return. White beats down Heyman and puts him through the table that was set up in the crowd earlier in the Heyman Robinson bout. Alright, so winner is Heyman Page. Alright. Backstage, Renee Paquette looks to get a word with TNT champion to scapegoat Jack Perry. He pulls up on his grimy ass Buzz and exits with his title in hand. As Paquette walks and talks with him, he is stopped by Kajiri Shibata. Shibata challenges him for a shot at the TNT title at AEW Wrestle Dream 2024 via his phone app. Perry says he'll think about it, and he keeps walking, only to turn around and blast Shibata with a cheap shot. He beats Perry down with the TNT Championship belt and then leans down over him and tells him his challenge is accepted. We head to another commercial break. Alright, next match coming up is Dr. Britt Baker DMD versus Serena Deeb. Versus Serena Deeb. When we return, we see a video package featuring comments from the American Dragon, Brian Danielson, the AEW World Champion, talks about his upcoming title defense against former fellow Blackpool Combat Club member John Moxley at AEW Wrestle Dream 2024 in front of his hometown fans in Washington. He talks about tonight marking 5 years since the launch of AEW and ends by saying, "AEW, this one is for you." All right. From there, we shoot back inside the show venue, where we hear the familiar sounds of the entrance tune for Pittsburgh's own Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, the former AEW Women's World Champion, makes her way for her homecoming showdown in her AEW Dynamite return. The theme for her opponent hits, and out comes the Professor's Unity. The bell sounds official off running this one. The crowd is strongly behind Baker early on as she dominates the initial offensive action. Reigning AEW Women's World Champion, the Glamour Mariah May is shown in the crowd, taking a close look at the action. Davey starts to control Baker on the mat, but not for long, as Baker starts to fight back upon getting back to a vertical base. Just as it seemed, Baker was starting to take over on offense. Dean cuts her back, come back short, and takes back over as we shift gears into a mid-match commercial break. As the action continues, when we return, we see Baker selling her knee as she begins another fired-up offensive comeback. Baker fights her way back into the offensive lead as Mariah May is once again shown watching on from the crowd. After a few more minutes, Baker slips the glove on and gets her lockjaw submission finisher for the tap-out victory. The turbo towels are swinging all over the place in the crowd as Baker celebrates the win. Alright. After the match, Deem attacks Baker from behind and slaps her in a single leg Boston Crab on her injured knee. Queen Amidala's theme hits and she runs down to make the save for Baker's knocking Deem out of the ring. Amidala and Baker stand tall as Baker's theme hits to end the post-match scene. So winner is Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Alright, next match is Private Party versus Iron Savages. Alright, backstage we see Hook after we inform of Taz being attacked in the parking lot prior to tonight's AEW Dynamite. An emotional, fired up, cold-hearted, and handsome devil shouts directly into the camera about how he's gonna find out who did this, and then he's coming for them. We then shoot to a separate backstage talking head segment, this time with the leader of the patriarchy, Christian Cage. He demands we pipe down while he conducts his business. He teases striking when the time is right. Hook, line, and sinker. We head to another commercial break on that note. Alright, when we return, we see AEW Women's World Champion, the Glamour Mariah May, backstage being interviewed by Renee Paquette. We learn that Willow Nightingale will be getting the next crack at her title. May talks about Will being a smiling, phony, unserving of a title shot. Willow comes in, and the two end up stiffing each other with slaps before the brawl breaks out. That interim AEW EVP Christopher Daniels has to rush to the scene to break up. Inside the Pearson Event Center, the Private Party duo of Zay and Quinn make their way out for our next match of the evening. We are already in the ring. Their scheduled opponents, the Iron Savages. The bell sounds official off running with this one literally within seconds. Private Party hits gin and juice for the win. Once the match wraps up, Private Party gets on the mic and challenges the Young Bucks for a shot at the tag titles. The Bucks come out and say, "You can't have a 5-year anniversary show without the guys who started this freaking place." They tease defending the title against Private Party right now, but then point out that they have limited dates and they're not wasting one on a town like Pittsburgh. The scapegoat Jack Perry then attacks the two from behind. The Bucks go to help, but Kajori Shibata makes the save and runs everyone off. AEW interim EVP Christopher Daniels gets out of my announces it'll be Shibata and Private Party and will take on Perry and then the Bucks and Trios action on this coming Friday's episode of AEW Dynamite. Rampage, I'm sorry. AEW Rampage. So winners are Private Party. And alright. Backstage, Renee Paquette introduces MVP and mentions how he has teased a special announcement for tonight. He goes to make that announcement when he is cut off by Prince Nana. Nana says he used to be a wrestler and he'll put his boots back on tonight to beat up MVP. MVP says that sounds like a complaint to him, and he doesn't deal with complaints, but he does. MVP as the camera pans over and shows Shelton Benjamin standing behind Nana in a suit. MVP introduces him as the president of the complaint department, Mr. Shelton Benjamin. We head to commercial break. So yeah, Shelton Benjamin is now part of AEW. All right, main event coming up: champion versus champion. Brian Danielson, who is champion, versus uh, Kazuchika Okada, who is a champion also. It's main event time. We return from the break. We hear the sounds of the coin dropping. Out comes the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada, for our final match of this special milestone 5-year anniversary episode of AEW Dynamite. Sorry, he sells in the ring as the commentators remind us that his AEW Continental Champion will only be on the line in this match for the first 20 minutes. So just so you guys know, this show finished around like 9:31, a little past 9:30. So it was because of because AEW Dynamite turned 5 years. That's why. So, anyways, now the familiar sounds of the entrance tune for the American Dragon. Brian Danielson hits Out comes the reigning AEW World Champion to a big pop from the Pittsburgh crowd. He sells in the square circle, where his title is also on the line, but not just for 20 minutes for the whole match. The commentators remind us that TBS has granted AEW the longest overrun ever tonight, and that the show could go as long as 30 plus minutes past the 10 o'clock hour, where I was at like 9 o'clock. They also remind everyone that Danielson has stated that he will retire the second he loses his AEW World Championship, and that this means we could very well witness the historical retirement of Brian Danielson tonight. As the bell sounds to get this one going, as Cowboy Tony Giovanni Nacho begins talking about the history between Danielson and Okada, with this being a rubber match and their trilogy of bouts where each man holds a win over the over the other, making tonight's bout the tiebreaker. After some initial back and forth action, we had to a mid-match commercial break with Danielson working over the arm of Okada. Okay. We settle back in from the break to Okada now in a comfortable offensive lead. He is taunting Danielson and flipping off the crowd while continuing to dominate inside the ring ropes. Danielson begins fighting back with yes kicks as the fans come to life in Pittsburgh. Okada cuts his comeback short and heads to the top rope. All right. He leads off with an elbow smash, the same spot that resulted in Danielson's arm breaking during their last match. The commentators inform us that we are 20 minutes into the match, and therefore Okada's AEW Continental Championship is no longer at stake. Danielson's AEW World Championship it still is. However, we head to another commercial break as Okada continues to control things. Okada hits a picture-perfect drop kick when we return from the break, but from there is all Danielson as the American Dragon fights back into the offensive lead. The Pittsburgh crowd is going bonkers with defending yes chance as Danielson repeatedly kicks the piss out of the Rainmaker. Danielson stalks Okada, waiting for him to get up in the corner, but Okada sees him coming, getting up, and catches him with his Rainmaker clothesline finisher. Okada can't follow up with the cover as he is still recovering as well. The two get to their knees, and for the second time in the match, go nose to nose and begin trading shots earlier, and it was slaps being traded while standing, and now they are trading close fists, blows back and forth, and as they fight their way back to their feet, Okada gets the better of it, but gets cocky and starts smacking Danielson in arrogant fashion, a la Razor Ramon in his WWE prime. All right. Danielson makes him pay for getting cocky instead of staying serious. As he begins fighting back and taking over, he looks for a bazooka knee, but Okada sees it coming and ends up hitting Danielson with one of his own. He can't finish him, however, and Danielson fights back, hitting a Rainmaker clothesline of his own on Okada. He can't get the win off of that. So things continue as they do. We see Claudio Castagnoli makes his way to the ringside area. Package also shown. Regardless, Danielson hits a back slide out of nowhere on Okada for the win. With the win, Danielson retains his AEW World Championship to winner and still AEW World Champion Bryan Danielson. All right, another match set for AEW Dynamite Title Tuesday. Casanova and Pat beat down Danielson and hold him afterwards as Mox gets on the mic. Mox says this hasn't got anything to do with them, and that is much bigger than them. The commentators question who then is behind Mox's recent actions, where Yuta hits the ring with the hammer to make the save. Where Danielson Mox stays in the ring and there's Yuta to use it. Danielson springs to life and tackles Mox, and then Claudio and Pac re-enter the ring and they all brawl. Danielson and Yuta clear the ring and then Yuta gets on the mic. He addressed Casanova and Pac in particular. He says he's tired of them treating him like a child. He says he's his own man and can fight his own fights. Speaking of fights, if the two of them want to get to Brian Danielson, they'll have to go through Yuta as well. Yuta throws the mic down. Danielson gets on the mic and challenges Casanova and Pac to a tag team match against himself. And Yuta, what do you say? Fans chant, yes, 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 as Cabra informed us on commentary. Pure Tony Khan that the match is official for next week's AEW Dynamite Title Tuesday. He thanks us for 5 years of watching AEW Dynamite and many more years to come. On that note, the special milestone for 5-year anniversary episode of AEW Dynamite wraps up and goes up there. Thanks for joining us and stuff. So yeah, good show tonight and stuff, and yeah, some good matches and not some good matches, whatever. But anyways, good show tonight for the 5-year anniversary of AEW Dynamite. Man, 5 years already. It went too fast. So can't wait to happen the next couple of years and stuff. So next year will be 6 years. So yeah, in January it'll be 6 years. When AEW started. So yeah, anyways, good show tonight stuff. Hope you like this video, not whatever. So like, subscribe, hit the bell button, leave a comment. If you guys leave me a comment, want to leave a comment, I don't care. And whatever you guys want to do, I don't care. Anyways, that was it, and I see you guys in the next video. Laters.